2, 1.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of Full Press Radio. This is November 16th, 2020. With you today is myself, Carl, and Stevie Nick.
What's happening, Carl?
Well, it's been 2020 for, almost 11 full months now, and I got to the date and didn't question myself if I was saying it correctly. So it's been one of those weeks, Nick. It's been a time.
No, I meant like what's actually happening in the hockey world, though. There's literally nothing happening.
Oh,
what are we doing here?
That's a very valid question. What do we do? I mean, we've got a great top 10 list today. That's happening.
Let's be honest. We have a good show today, despite the NHL leaving us high and dry week after week.
We are thoroughly prepared for no content every week and having to make up all of our own. Because we didn't even get any information on what's happening next season.
We got nothing. There was which has almost become a weekly segment about when is the NHL restarting. We got none of that. We got no signings. We got no trades. We got no training camp speculations. We got nothing.
Nothing at all. So let's play a game.
Okay.
I know
I like games.
We don't usually play games this early into the show.
No, you wait till I'm more tired so you can win.
So I can win. Let's play a game. This one brings me a lot of joy, actually. So I opened up my book of show notes because I write it in this book every day, every week. I'm almost out of space. We can only go for about 15, 20 more episodes, and then I need a new book, or we have to end the show.
Still more goals than Jamie Benn will have by the time we get there.
But here's what I want to talk about. I opened it up to last year's section, and this was last year. I don't know if you remember. We were playing hockey in November last year.
Yeah, this is fun. Oh, I'm excited about what's written in that book.
Let's play a game. I want you to guess or see if you remember what was happening this time last year. Do you have any predictions on what was happening?
So we would have been roughly a month into the season.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Sabres were probably on their 10th win in a row and at the top of the standings.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
We were probably still, you know whose name jumps to the top of my head? Dustin Byfuglien.
Okay.
That whole saga was happening.
Mm-hmm.
What else was happening? Jordan Binnington continued to play well.
You have not listed a single thing on this list.
Oh man, really? That's disappointing. Those were all hot topics last year.
They were, but here's what we talked about instead. So we started off, Nick, and this is one I very much remember. This is something that still brings me joy. Do you remember when we talked about the cheese statues last year?
That was a whole year ago?
That was a year ago, yeah.
Oh my goodness. You said we're how many months into 2020?
This is the 11th month.
Yeah, it feels like we're in the second year.
Well, so if you go back and listen to November, we're talking about the November 18th episode of the show. November 18th, 2019. We talked about the cheese statues. The second note on the list says Leafs, Bab or not. So we were some preliminary is Mike Babcock the problem talk. Or had he already been fired at this point?
That was preliminary, for sure. I can't believe that Mike Babcock was only fired last season.
I don't know. I'm going back through. It's got to have been, yeah. Okay. I know you're looking up. I think Mike Babcock might have been fired the week after this. We'll find out.
November 20th, 2019, he was fired.
So 2 days after we recorded this show, Mike Babcock was fired.
Yep.
Then I just wrote Stars. Something happened with the Dallas Stars. Maybe Jamie Benn did a thing.
Maybe.
Then for some reason we thought Corey Schneider was important to talk about.
Was he demoted at this point?
That might have been when he got put on waivers. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
It says Koy. I think it might mean Covey. Maybe it should say Covey. Ilya Kovalchuk maybe did a thing. Maybe he was playing really well. He did play really well last year.
But he was playing for the Kings at the time, wasn't he?
The Canadians?
Didn't he sign with the Kings and then he got traded, or did he get bought out and then re-signed with the Canadians?
I think he got bought out and then signed with the Canadians.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with. And then we had a segment last year, which, I mean, if we ever have hockey again, maybe we can bring that back depending on how short we might have to just jump straight into the elimination station week 1 of this 48 game schedule.
Seriously though.
It's going to be a quick one. But do you remember we did the best and the worst last season?
Vaguely.
Yeah. Well, our best of the week was something you kind of mentioned of. Jack Eichel was the best of the week last November 18th.
Yep.
And the worst of the week, I do not remember why, it was Matt Calvert.
That's a name that hasn't crossed my mind probably since we had that conversation.
I mean, he played for the Avalanche, so it's crossed my mind a little bit, but not enough. So you go.
So you have these notes for every show that we've done over the last year?
I have notes for this all the way back until, when did I first start this? This looks like it started with the first episode of 2018.
This is fun. And I think that while hockey news is dry, we should take 5 minutes every week and look back at what we talked about last year. Because the contrast, especially right now with there being no hockey, is going to be a lot of fun. And we'll be able to reminisce. Reminiscing is always fun.
Because we could go back 2 years.
Oh, what'd you talk about 2 years ago?
November 20th, 2018.
Yeah.
Here's the list of topics we discussed. I don't even know what I had a very different approach to show notes back then. So first up, Ron Hextall was a topic.
Okay. It must have been when he was fired.
One of the Stromes.
Is that what it says? Just one of the Stromes?
It just says Strome. I don't know which.
Okay.
Probably. Was that when Dylan was traded to the Blackhawks?
2 years ago? That feels like a very long time ago. It's possible.
And then we've got Rantanen. So he was still not signed at that point in time, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Line was a topic.
Okay.
Then we did it just says point Line contracts. Like
because they were all holding out at the time, weren't they?
Or they were going to be?
Could be.
Nylander. That was the guy who...
Remember that one?
That was a thing. And then just Buffalo.
So this time of year always seems to be the time to talk about Buffalo.
This is the time where Buffalo does a great thing, which, I mean, hey, they might rise to the top of what we're talking about later.
We'll see. They're certainly high on my list.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, that's a trip down memory lane.
That's fun. I like it.
Do you want to know what's written down for today's show notes preliminary?
No.
Nothing. There is nothing on this piece of paper. So now I'll write a flashback segment. Anyways, welcome to this week's flashback.
That was fun. I like looking back on that stuff.
Well, good. I guess we have some spoilers what we're going to talk about next week in the flashback. That's a very fitting thing because the only piece of NHL news that we had on our list of things to talk about involves flashbacks.
You nailed it, Carl. I was just thinking, this is the perfect segue. He can do it. He can do this. I believe in him.
The NHL fully announced and released today the Retro Reverse Jerseys series. Every team gets a jersey for this upcoming season. Not even like a third jersey. It's just a bonus jersey, a fourth jersey, or whatever, where it looks back on their past, their history, some of their jerseys, and has a fresh spin on it. So it's a retro jersey, but not. What are your thoughts on these new jerseys?
Well, I was going to ask you to explain the concept to me, and I think you just tried. Because reverse retro, I'm still not really clear what they're going for here with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think some of them are beautiful and they're really nice jerseys. And some of them are like worse than worse. Like, just awful.
So which ones stand out to you? I know this is an audio podcast. So at this point in time, if you're not driving, just pull up a list. Maybe we'll put one in the show notes, a list of all the jerseys. Which one do you think stands out as like particularly awful?
The Anaheim Ducks one. It's not even close.
No.
Yeah, it's
that
terrible.
That one's just fun. It's fun.
No,
it's got the literal fighting duck on it.
Awful, Carl.
That duck is so mighty.
Awful. If they wanted to do something good, they would have gone with the original Mighty Ducks logo that's on the shoulder. This is terrible. This is a literal kids cartoon.
Yes.
That, by the way, doesn't hold up because I tried watching it on Disney Plus a couple times.
The cartoon version, not the movies.
The cartoon version doesn't hold up. The movies are great.
The movies are still good. I agree that the cartoon is not good, but this jersey, I've really enjoyed them embracing that side of their past. Something that this is the thing that I love. I will say in every single one of these, this is a weird thing in the NHL where they like try to forget their past sometimes. Repeatedly now, we're seeing these teams finally be able to embrace the good or fun things in their past. This is one of them.
But is this the past of the Anaheim Ducks? Like, this was a spin-off cartoon that they made. To me, this isn't the past of the team.
Sure, but like, did they not? They wore a jersey with this at some point in time.
I think it was like their third alternate for a season or something like that.
Yeah, so it's still the past. It's still their history.
Terrible. I hate the front of it. The shoulders are great. The colors are great. I hate the cartoon character.
I don't particularly. I mean, there's a lot of just like weird, random color choices. I'm not a huge fan of the Winnipeg Jets one, mostly because it has nothing to do with the Atlanta Thrashers, and it makes me furious. If they had have done an Atlanta Thrashers colored Winnipeg Jets jersey, that would have brought me so much joy.
Yeah, I mean, the league's really playing fast and loose here with which franchises they want to honor the histories of.
Yes.
Right? Like, they don't want to do the whole Phoenix Winnipeg thing, but they're happy to honor the Nordiques with Colorado.
Or the North Stars.
Or the North Stars or the Whalers.
It is interesting. I also don't like the all-white Detroit jerseys.
I think they look really sharp. You know what? I have to say, like, I think Detroit looks really good. I really like the silver, but I think all the original 6 ones look really good. Well, not all of them, but most of them, because they're not really messing with the logos too much. Like, I think Detroit looks really good. I think Boston looks really good. I wish I never had to say that about Boston. The Leafs one, like, well, why does the Maple Leaf have to take the whole front of the shirt? I don't know why it's so big.
It is. I do like that version of the logo. I enjoy though. Maybe they just really wanted to highlight that.
You know which one's color scheme I like quite a bit? The New Jersey Devils.
I haven't. That one hasn't stood out to me as of yet. So let me see if I can find it here on the old.
The colors are very.
They went the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
nice.
I like it.
I like that. I also really enjoy the Kings going back to the purple and gold.
Yeah.
Color scheme wise, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was cool too. How about the Vegas Golden Knights?
Terrible.
Unveiling their retro jersey
for the 2-year-old franchise. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not the red. It's very unnecessarily aggressive.
Well, yeah, that's the thing about red as a color though, right? It's meant to like ignite. It's like the angry color. That's why we both always wear red to this podcast.
That's why our logo is red.
That's why our logo is red.
I am very interested. The one that surprised me the most when they announced it was the one for the Avalanche, because there's been very little official acknowledgement of the Nordiques by the Avalanche, by the organization, by the NHL in any of their marketing. I mean, you can get like some aftermarket stuff, but officially licensed, it's very rare. The Avalanche, as much as fans have wanted to, do not wear a Nordiques jersey. And all of a sudden we have the fleur-de-lis on the jersey in Avalanche burgundy. A very surprising choice for me.
I love the Nordiques logo. I hate it in this color scheme.
Just switched up?
Yeah, I don't like these colors on that logo. And you mentioned the fleur-de-lis. It's very weird to me that a team in Denver, Colorado is going to be repping the fleur-de-lis.
It does seem a little strange. There is nothing French about that.
No, there's nothing French about this team or that city or their culture. It's just, I don't know. That's a weird choice to me. They could have just omitted the fleur-de-lis, but they're probably hoping for high sales in Quebec.
Absolutely there. And I mean, I like it. This is one of my favorites. The only one that rivals it is the Flames bringing back Blasty, the flaming horse.
You like it, eh?
I love it. I loved it when that was the third jersey. When was that? 1999? I want to say, because I remember it being in NHL 99. I think that was the version. And that thing looks so good. It was the right amount of fun and nonsense. And I'm so glad that they brought it back.
Yeah, I like this one, actually. You're right. It is fun and it's intense.
The only thing about that jersey that a little bit confuses me, I know that their colors are red and yellow, but the V crest at the bottom looks too much like the Canucks old color scheme.
It is very Canucksy now that you point that out. As soon as you said that V, that was the first thing that jumped to my head too.
Which, like, as rivals, shouldn't be a thing. You shouldn't make your jersey think of your opponents.
What's going on with Chicago? Because in the album I'm looking at, it's just the back of the jersey and it says Blackhawks.
It's a black jersey.
Same logo, I'm assuming?
No, it's an older version of the logo. Still really leaning into the Blackhawks name, which not sure if that's a direction they should be going in 2020. But
there it is. I see it. Yeah,
that's what they're doing, and they've given their support of why they are, and so them do them.
Them do them.
Well, anyways, in general, you like this choice? You excited to see these on the ice this year?
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of them on the ice. I think the NHL needed to do something exciting, and like, frankly, revenue generating.
I was like, I think this is more of a way for them to be like, how can we make every team get a bump in jersey sales?
Yeah.
Oh, this will work.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot more of this kind of stuff throughout major sports this year.
Well, we've seen it. NBA does this so well for the last number of years, right? More jerseys all the time, different jerseys. Teams are using a bunch. NFL starting to do it more. And I definitely think that we're moving away from just a first, second, and third jersey in the NHL, which I fully support and endorse. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I agree. Great.
All right. Do we want to take our break now and then get into the top 10 list?
Yeah, this is going to be an intense top 10 list. So let's do it.
Welcome back, everyone. As Nick said, we have a jam-packed summer top 10 list. Without further ado,
The summer top 10 list.
Top 10 list.
this is actually, Nick, this is the most fitting time to play that music with that underlay sound there. It gets me hungry.
I'm starving. You know, Carl, it's 8:30 p.m. for me, but I skipped dinner because I knew we'd be having a feast tonight.
That was a mistake because you were even prepping for this show made me incredibly hungry.
Been hungry for the week that we've been working on this.
It's true. So let's get to the topic at hand. This week we are looking at finding out the top 10 iconic dishes or iconic foods in NHL cities. And I'm very excited about this.
There are some pretty good dishes.
Absolutely. So here's the way that this is going to work. We, with a bit of help from the listeners, we curated a list of the best foods in each city or the iconic foods in each city. Now, we're just going to run through them real quick because we would be here all day. And I know that we are going to be hearing it from people in every single city out there saying, nah, that's not the food for my city. That's not the food for my city. This should be it. We don't have time to both argue what is the food from that city and also determine the top 10. So we've got a pretty close list of what is the best food in each of these cities.
And some of this is from our experience, and some, as you said, is from listeners.
Yeah. And some of it's just from the internet.
Yes, of course.
So let's go. And this is in like moderately particular order. It's kind of by division, kind of not. So should we just run through the list real quick?
Let's run through the list. If you want to start, and whenever your voice gets tired, just let me know and I'll pick it up from there.
Okay. So we got Los Angeles, salsa. San Jose, tacos. Calgary, steak. Edmonton, slightly worse steak. Vancouver, sushi. Winnipeg, pierogies. Ottawa, beaver tails. Toronto, street meat. Montreal, we've got our first toss-up. We've got two listed here. Is it poutine or is it smoked meat sandwiches? Which one is it?
Are you asking me right now?
I'm asking you right now.
I would lean more towards smoked meat sandwich for Montreal specifically.
Okay, I thought so as well. But it does feel weird to not have poutine on this list, and that is the most poutine place we have to pick from.
Agreed. I think poutine can be the official food of the Canadian division.
Okay, I think that's a fair choice. Okay. Which brings us New York, a very tough one to pick. Just one food to define New York. And what we ended up going with was the one that's it actually has I'd say it's the dish that is named after New York that we see the most often, New York cheesecake. And New Jersey, and this is where after this we'll swap off because this one shocked me. I'm looking it up and this is a pork roll. Okay, apparently that's the official food of New Jersey, which of course it is. But here's the thing. How did we have Taylor Hall in New Jersey for so long? Do you know what they call this pork roll, Nick?
I mean, I do, but you have to tell us.
Because they call it the Taylor ham. How have we had Taylor Hall in New Jersey all these years? And there's a dish, one of the most iconic dishes in New Jersey, the Taylor ham, and that's not his nickname?
Seems like a huge missed opportunity.
New Jersey has let us down yet again.
Okay, so I'll take it from here, or do you have more to say about that? You look like you have more to say about it.
I'm good. I'm gonna go stew on this while you get the rest of this list going.
All right, we got in Detroit, we've got Little Caesars pizza / Detroit style pizza. Buffalo, chicken wings, gotta be chicken wings. Tampa Bay's got their Cuban sandwich down pat. Boston, clam chowder. Florida, this is like Fort Lauderdale / Sunrise area, so put a little bit of a liquid lunch here, maybe a couple margaritas down. Philadelphia, we obviously Philly cheesesteak. Pittsburgh, we've got sauerkraut. Columbus, we've got corned beef. If this makes our list, by the way, I have questions because I don't really know where that came from.
I mean, that's looking at the list for Columbus. When I was filling out the rest of them, I was a little surprised.
Okay, good. So it's not just me. Carolina, General Barbecue. They're known for their barbecue. Dallas, we have queso. Nashville, I believe the term is Nashville hot chicken. I wrote down fried chicken here because I think most of it is fried anyways.
I mean, I would hope that all chicken is typically served hot. I would say the few exceptions would be an egg salad or a chicken salad sandwich, which is not a salad, by the way.
No, it's not.
But chicken sandwich would be the only time that you could have a cold chicken.
I exclusively eat chicken hot.
Yeah.
Chicago, we have deep dish pizza, obviously. Denver, we have Rocky Mountain oysters. St. Louis, we have ribs. Phoenix is chimichanga. Las Vegas, buffets. Just in general, buffets.
All kinds, all the food, all the time. That seems about right.
That sounds right to me. That's the only food I can think of in Vegas. Seattle has Starbucks.
Oh, welcome to the list, Seattle. A little preemptive inclusion.
Well, you know how we do. We needed the content. Minneapolis has wild rice. Washington, half smoked sandwich, and that's all the teams.
That's all of our cities. And if we forgot your city, obviously the food's not that great. Maybe your hockey team isn't either.
That being said, I'm pretty sure we have them all.
I believe so. Here we go. So that's what we're working off of as our list. Now, is there any that you like adamantly got to be in the top 10?
Yes. Chicken wings.
Okay.
One of the pizzas, I would lean deep dish personally.
Yeah, I would go. I don't know. Is Little Caesars style Detroit style pizza? I've never had pizza in Detroit.
I don't think Little Caesars is technically Detroit style, at least not anymore. It may have been at one time. But now it's a conglomerate. Anyways, Little Caesars pizza is just okay. So I would definitely lean deep dish.
I'm going deep dish as well.
Okay, good. So make that green. Go ahead.
Okay, this is nice because I was writing them down, and instead of wings, I wrote down week. So
weak wings.
Week. No, like the time frame, like 1 week.
Oh, we got a lot longer than that to go before hockey starts.
We got, you know that I can't go without putting queso on this list.
Okay.
I also want to put down, one of the two barbecues need to go on the list. I think just the general, variety of barbecue in the Carolinas would be what I would go with over the singleness of St. Louis ribs. But I also am fine if we put both on.
No, let's go with barbecue, like Southern barbecue in general, because man, how can you not order the platter? I want a little bit of everything.
You got to. Exactly.
Speaking of barbecue though, steak in Calgary has to go on the list.
A nice Alberta steak?
Yes.
Gotta have.
There's nothing better. Well, just the Calgary one.
Sorry, Edmonton.
I mean, come on, we're not going to put slightly worse steak on our top 10 list.
That's what happens when the person who writes some of this list has some bias. That's what happens there.
That is what happens. So what are we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What kind of street meat are we talking? Is it good or is it just hot dogs in Toronto?
Toronto was a very hard one for me to find. I need to provide some context here, okay? Toronto was a very hard one for me to find because it's the most multicultural city in the world. So the food scene is like unbelievably good, but I couldn't think of one single item of food that I would define as like Toronto's signature dish. So as I do, I looked at it through the hockey lens, and what would the hockey world see as Toronto's signature dish? And, there's a very prominent hockey writer several years ago who wrote about a very prominent Toronto hockey player's love of a very popular street food in Toronto, which led me to street meat.
I don't think I can put hot dogs on this list.
But Carl, you haven't had one of these hot dogs after midnight.
You know what? I'm not allowed to go out after midnight anymore, so
That's so true. Okay, I'm okay if we leave street meat off.
some other things that are kind of sticking out to me. I was going to say tickling my fancy, which isn't incorrect. New England clam chowder, super good. This might be again, back-to-back Boston positive comments we got here.
I totally agree. That was one that was on my list as well.
Tacos.
Yeah. I mean, how could you say no to tacos? There's so many good kinds of tacos.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like they have because being on the coast, you got fish tacos, you've got barbecue, you've got pork, you've got so many choices there.
So
and
we have a lot of meat on this list.
You saying we should add some vegetables?
I'm saying we should add some coffee.
Okay. I would say, because of the things on this list, that is the item that I have the most.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Coffee is the only thing I have on this list once a day, at least. Although
if I was having queso every day, I'd be so happy. I'd also be dead, but I'd be happy. So what are we sitting at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. I mean, if we want a little bit of variety, we can put a buffet down on the list.
But do you eat at buffets because you like them? Or do you eat at buffets because you have to?
Oh, no. I eat at a buffet because I get to.
Because you get to. So it's because you like them.
Like, literally the last place I ate at before we all shut down in March for COVID was a buffet.
Gotcha.
I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but I did. And it was Brazilian barbecue.
Oh, that's a good style of buffet too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, throw buffets on the list because I wasn't even considering Brazilian.
And I mean, I've had a Brazilian barbecue buffet in Vegas, so.
Do they have the coasters that you flip red and green? And when it's green, they bring the meat over?
Absolutely. And you always leave it green.
They just never stop.
That thing turns red when I'm ready to walk out the door.
Oh, it's so good. So much bacon.
All right, we've got one left on this list. There's a lot of good food still to be eaten here.
There's a lot of really good food on this list. So hold on. I have a question. Can you tell the listeners what a Rocky Mountain oyster is?
I mean, sure, Nick. This was one that came from a listener, and they thought that this was a good one for us to have. So, for those who do not know what a Rocky Mountain oyster is, it is not, I mean, you may know oysters, not super prevalent in the Rocky Mountains. So, typically, when a cow is young, they will remove some of its parts and then fry them up. So, when that process happens, the term for those removed body parts that are cooked are Rocky Mountain oysters. So, I've actually never had one.
I've never had one, but when I was in Denver and we were doing a walking tour, that was like the thing that they were like, "Oh, this is the food that we're known for here."
Seriously, so it is a thing that wow. I mean, I've been at a branding, and we just never keep them. We just get rid of them because we're going to eat a steak later. Why ruin it with Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I never had them. I don't know. Maybe that's just something that the locals tell the tourists to freak us out, but that's what we were told.
Well, all right.
Anyways, I'm not putting that on my list.
No, certainly not. I don't know. Do we want another? Let's try to switch it up a little bit. Because I could go, I mean, the chimichanga in Phoenix, we kind of have a taco, which is kind of a Mexican inspired thing. We've got sandwiches. We've got a soup style. We've got some pizza.
You know what we don't have?
Margaritas.
Yes, that's not what I was going to say, but I mean, I do. That was one of my last two that I was going to propose.
What was
the other one was sushi.
Yeah, I'm down. Let's go sushi.
I love me some sushi.
Now, sushi, do you also go sushi buffet? Or do you just like do it like a normal person and like take the dishes, the colors?
I used to do sushi buffet, the all you can eat ones, but then I grew up.
Yeah, me too.
I love me some sushi.
All right, so this is what we got. Here's our list. Wings, deep dish pizza, queso, general barbecue, steak, chowder, tacos, Starbucks, buffets, and sushi. That is a solid list
Oh, man.
of top foods.
The only amendment I'd make is I think instead of calling it general barbecue, we should call it Southern style barbecue.
I think you are correct. Southern barbecue is the correct term, or Carolina barbecue, because that's like it's own other thing too.
Yeah, let's call it Carolina barbecue.
All right, there we go. So I don't know what's your criteria of how you want to do this, because for me, I'm thinking I want to rank them based on how much joy I get when I eat this dish.
Okay.
What are you thinking? What would make a food the number one thing for you?
Definitely would be enjoyment you get out of it. 100%. How much do I love eating this? What's the opportunity for a repeat purchase of this dish if I come back to this place?
Ooh, see, that's an interesting criteria, because I think this is the one that I want to start talking about is the one that I think is going to potentially be an upset or an early drop off. Starbucks.
As number 10?
Because here's the thing. I often will go, but then I go there the most. And so I think because of the repetition of it, it's not as special as like if I'm doing ribs, or if I'm doing, which isn't on the list, but if I'm doing, steak night, if it's steak night, I'm not really as pumped I'm more pumped doing steak night than I am doing Starbucks because it's more of a treat.
I agree. And I also think that if you go to Seattle, is the Starbucks you get there going to be any different or better than the Starbucks that you can get in New York or Chicago or at home in your hometown? Like, to me, all these other food dishes that we're talking about, they're very unique to that area. And while Seattle was the birthplace of Starbucks, they're this big, massive global corporation now whose coffee is meant to be the same no matter where you get it.
It's true. And plus, there's Seattle's best. It's not even the best coffee from Seattle.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. But I'm sure people in Seattle hate Starbucks.
I mean, maybe, probably not. I'm sure they like it just as much as everyone else who have a love-hate relationship with Starbucks. So I'm thinking Starbucks for number 10. I do enjoy it. And all that being said, I was absolutely rolled through Starbucks on my way to work day one when the Christmas drinks showed up. That eggnog latte was in my hand so fast.
They do make very good seasonal drinks.
So that's literally, I drink Starbucks from October to December when pumpkin spice and eggnog lattes are out, and then I pretty much stop the rest of the year.
You like the pumpkin spice stuff, eh?
I like the pumpkin. I like the eggnog. I'm basic like that, and that's okay.
That is okay. I was just asking. You don't have to get defensive.
Look, Nick, it's fine, okay? I like what I like.
Okay, Starbucks number 10. Number 9, buffets.
Tell me.
Well, there are some very good buffets. We mentioned the Brazilian buffets. There are some very good buffets out there, but I feel like they're dragged down by the bad buffets, because there are some bad buffets out there, mostly belonging to hotels, overpriced, low quality buffets. And when I hear the word buffet and think about buffet, Brazilian was not the first thing that came into my mind.
You're thinking like
overpriced breakfast from the hotel.
Ooh, the breakfast buffet is the worst buffet. Like it's fine, but you're right. It's overpriced.
And it is. That's it though. It's just like it's fine. It's fine. Now, like there are some buffets that really kind of hold their weight. Like some of the dinner buffets out there, mwah, chef's kiss fingers thing.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I look at some of the other items on this list, and to me, I would rather order these dishes individually from these cities that are known for them than go get a buffet and have a little bit of everything that's just more average.
See, and I think that is the difficult part of the buffet. You have to be able to really suss out what is and is not worth your time, right? If you're filling up on salad at a buffet, go somewhere else. That's not your spot to be doing that, right? You can go just get something from the grocery store. But if you're a seafood fan, the buffet is the place to be if there's seafood. I would say arguably the best steak I have ever had was at a breakfast buffet.
Come on.
Yep. Not lying. It was at the Wynn Hotel in Vegas, Nick. Best steak I've ever had.
Come on. You're from Alberta.
I'm not. I know it was cooked so well. And maybe it was just the fact that it was breakfast and I was having this delicious steak. But I went back so much for that steak. It was great.
So is your buffet strategy, you go all meat first? Like load up on the meats?
I'm going for the meats. I'm loading up on that. I try to steer clear of as much carbs as possible because those are going to fill you up. I'm for sure not going for breads.
Yeah.
At my buffet. I might take a little bit of, I'll usually go buffet or meat, and then I'll maybe do like a quick little like light salad, like some sort of thing, as a breather.
Yeah.
Maybe throw some cheeses in there, depending on what kind of charcuterie they've got going on.
Yeah.
Then go back for round 2 of meats. Really hit my favorite from round 2 and try to add some extra from what was good. And then round 3, and then probably hit up the dessert buffet.
So you're on average doing 3 rounds at the like entree buffet.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
You gotta get the most out of it.
That's it, right? Like you're in money's worth territory. So
if you're going to a buffet, especially if it's a good, like Brazilian barbecue, you've got to have enough. But I'm okay. I think because of the wide range of buffets we're talking about here, like there could be the really bad, buffet, the really great ones. I'm okay putting buffets at 9.
All right, great. Because there's some really good foods we got to talk about here.
This is hard. This is very difficult. I have no idea where I want to go with number 8 here. I'm thinking deep dish pizza's coming in at number 8 for me.
Really?
I think so.
Deep dish pizzas. Let me look at some of these other ones here. What about queso?
Nick, I want you right now. Pull up your phone.
Not queso.
I want you to pull up your phone right now. I want you to go to the Twitter app.
Okay.
And in the search, I want you to type in Carl 4th line.
Okay.
Click on that profile. What does it say?
Queso appreciation account? How long has it said that?
Months.
Liar.
Maybe years. I'm not lying to you. This has been like that for a while. Do you need me to go get my queso shirt that I have?
No. Okay, deep dish pizza number 8.
I will not put queso at number 8 on the best foods list. That is not happening.
Okay.
I mean, I will fight for anything else. You can make a different fight for number 8, but it's not queso.
No, it's fine, Carl. Yeah. I think deep dish pizza, queso, and I don't know. We're getting into really tough territory, but I'm okay putting deep dish pizza at 8.
All right, deep dish pizza. Welcome to number 8. What kind of, let's give it its due time though. What do you like in a deep dish pizza?
Oh man. I'm a traditionalist. Like I like just a standard pepperoni cheese pizza.
Just a fat stack of it.
Just a fat stack of it. And when you pull a slice up, the mozzarella strings all the way basically to your plate. And I like the deep dish and the way the sauce kind of like melts and bakes into the entire thing. It's like a cake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else is really good on deep dish pizzas for some reason? Mushrooms.
Mushrooms are good. I still, my favorite kind of pizza, just like generic, if you're going to like a Domino's or a Papa John's or something like that, like I'm a big Hawaiian fan, and a Hawaiian deep dish pizza is good too.
False.
No.
Do not put pineapple on pizza.
Yes, you should absolutely put pineapple on
You
pizza.
absolutely should not put pineapple on pizza. That's disgusting. Pineapple is fantastic on its own. One of the best fruits, in my opinion. Just don't ruin your pizza by putting a great fruit on it. Just because two dishes are really good doesn't mean you have to mix them together.
Yeah, but it works so well. Because, like, here's the thing. I assume, since you have such a love for pineapple, that you would eat pineapple and ham together. A great combination. Will you agree?
I maybe make my ham with pineapple on it, yes.
Okay, so you agree that ham and pineapple go well together. Is ham a good ingredient on pizza without pineapple?
It can be, yes. On a meat lover's pizza, sure, I would put ham on there.
Okay, so what is it about, maybe pizza's the problem then? Because what is it about pizza that all of a sudden makes pineapple not a proper combination?
Well, maybe you can explain this to me because I don't eat Hawaiian pizza, so I don't know. But is the base tomato sauce?
Yes.
Boom, there it is. That's disgusting.
So tomato.
Would you open a jar of stewed tomatoes and throw pineapple bits in there and just eat it with a spoon?
I wouldn't do that with any ingredient. Like if you were like, hey, Carl, would you take a meatball and dip it into some tomato sauce and just eat it?
That would be delicious.
I mean, I actually might do that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't take like a piece of like processed, like sliced ham and dip it into a jar of pizza and eat it. You'd be a sociopath.
Why would you do it on your pizza?
Well, I mean, it's a very different scenario.
Pineapples do not belong on pizza, okay? This is not the debate I showed up here to have tonight, Carl.
You were expecting positivity. Well,
you're never going to convince me. This is one we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
And you know what? I think that's even more of a reason to put deep dish in number 8 because there's the greatness that is like just a quality meat lovers pepperoni, and then for you, pineapple. Mine is any pizza that has olives on it.
I agree. I hate olives in general.
Good. Me too.
Glad we could get back on the same page there.
Problem solved. Are you putting queso at number 7, Nick?
Yep. I'm going to keep saying queso until you let me have it because all these other foods are higher on my list than queso.
Seriously. What is it about queso that you don't like? And then I'll tell you what I do like.
I love queso. Carl, this is not a like, what do you hate about the dish conversation anymore. Queso is delicious. There's nothing better than cheese.
I mean, there you go. There's nothing better than cheese. So let's bump it up the list.
Well, meat's better than cheese.
There's nothing better than cheese. I mean,
here's a fun question that was posed to me probably like 15 years ago, and I still think about it frequently. Can you name a single food that cheese doesn't go with?
Pineapple.
Cottage cheese? Would you not eat?
Does that count as a cheese? Is that a proper cheese?
It's literally called cottage cheese.
Yeah, but so head cheese is called cheese, and it's not a cheese. It's not a dairy product at all.
Head cheese?
Yeah.
What the heck
not
is
heard of
head
this.
cheese?
I'm gonna pull this up so that you can see. Something else that doesn't go with cheese. Ooh.
I've thought about so many, what about, Jell-O?
Jello and cheese, yeah, that doesn't go together.
Again, cottage cheese. Apparently, I'm just a big cottage cheese fan.
I would not put Jello and cottage cheese together.
Come on.
Here's a picture of head cheese. It is like gelatin and meat.
There's no cheese in it?
No,
Why would you call it head cheese then?
I don't know.
It feels like a trick.
It is. It's European.
Classic.
Sound like a former hockey analyst.
Anyway. So queso's number 7 on my list.
Okay,
because
we have separate lists at this point. I cannot
Okay.
defend putting queso at number 7.
what's 7 on your list?
I would say either sushi or chowder is number 7 on my list.
I'll talk to you about sushi,
Okay.
but not
So-
chowder.
Okay. We can still have chowder. Sushi's good. And maybe it's just because I have not ever had it. I have never eaten sushi and said to myself, wow, that was great sushi. It's kind of just all the same and it's good, but not amazing.
There is such a thing as amazing sushi, but it's very, very expensive. Like if you're going to get really good sushi, it's very expensive. I also think that when sushi's bad, it's really bad. Like it's really gross and bad and it turns you off from sushi for a long time. And I also think that there's lots of different kinds of sushi and some of it grosses me out.
That's fair. Like I am not a sashimi fan.
That's right.
You will not find me eating just like a slab of raw fish. I don't
Yeah.
enjoy the texture. And you can like it, but I just don't.
Yeah. So there's like weird things like that that's considered sushi that I just would never eat. So that's why I would entertain sushi at 7.
Here, how about this? I'll give you sushi at 7. We can put queso at 6.
You'll give me sushi at 7?
Yes.
You'll give
I'll
it to me? Thank you, Carl.
I'll take sushi at 7 and give you queso at number 6. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
That's my concession. I've managed to move queso up to number 6, but do know that this is being done in protest.
Noted. So speaking of queso, do you make your own queso?
Yes.
You do, eh?
I like not often, but I will. Anytime I go to any Mexican restaurant of any kind, I will get their queso.
The best queso that you've ever had, where'd you get it from?
Best queso ever. I would say at a resort in Mexico was the best queso I've ever had. Made tableside. Amazing.
So not in Dallas.
Not in Dallas. I've never been to Dallas.
No, me neither. It's on my list though. And when I go, I'm going to have queso.
I don't know if I've even had queso in Texas. I'm trying to think if I have or have not. That said, I am not a picky person. Queso is one of those things that the worst queso is good. I will eat like the old El Paso queso from a jar or any jarred queso that's maybe not even real cheese, and I will devour it by the handful.
I mean, it's literally just cheese dip, isn't it?
With like some peppers in there.
Yeah, even picky people eat cheese dip.
I'm just saying, queso comes in all kinds, and I appreciate all of them.
I agree. I have it pulled up on Google Images right now, and it's making me want queso. I think I have nachos in my cupboard. I'm going to eat some after
I'm
this.
so jealous. I only have salsa at home right now.
We'll see what's in the fridge.
Let's go.
All right. Well, thank you
Number
for giving me sushi at 7.
So there we go. So this is our bottom 5. Queso number 6, sushi number 7, deep dish pizza is number 8, number 9 is buffets, and rounding out our top 10, Starbucks, which brings us to the top 5. The dishes left: wings, Carolina barbecue, steak, chowder, and tacos. An amazing collection of foods. If this was a buffet, these buffets would be higher up the list.
Oh, if this was the buffet, it would be number 1 for sure.
if this is what buffets were on this list, it'd be great.
So do you want me to tell you the two that I'm debating at 4 and 5?
Yeah, I'll help you decide.
Okay. Clam chowder and tacos.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
How do you rank that though? So here's kind of what I'm thinking, right? Tacos are good all the time. No matter the season, no matter the weather, no matter the time of day you have them for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. There are breakfast tacos.
Absolutely.
Tacos are just always good. There's a lot of variety.
Yeah.
Clam chowder to me is like rainy day, kind of cold, but not really cold, but you just need like to warm your soul a little bit. It's so like gooey and warm, and it's a really nice texture. And I think that's where tacos have the edge, because to me, clam chowder is more seasonal or more weather dependent than tacos.
I agree, right? In the heat of summer, I'm not going for a nice warm bowl of clam chowder.
Yeah, right?
In the heat of summer, you bet I'm going to the taco stand and getting a bunch.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? So that's my
good
argument
choices.
for clam chowder at 5.
I'm gonna put clam chowder at 5. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Have we
I
been
do-
saying it right?
I mean, we don't have a Boston accent, so I think yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, chowder is an amazing dish. I like, it has to be the white sauce chowder though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there another?
Yeah. There's other types of chowder that are like in a tomato based sauce.
No. It has to be the white one.
Let me just double check that the New England clam chowder that we're looking at. Yeah. So we've got
you're
like
right.
a white based one. We've got like different kinds. New England clam chowder is what we're looking at though.
Yes. 100%.
Trying to think of what region has the worst version of clam chowder. And it's slipping my mind right now. So, but they're not on the list, and they're certainly not number 5.
Have you ever been to Boston?
No.
Boston is a great city, and legit, their clam chowder is so good.
And that's the thing that's like better there than in other places, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because like, I mean, I lived in the Maritimes of Canada for many years, and same thing. The chowder there is, if you're getting seafood chowder in Alberta, just don't. Just skip it.
Where would they get the seafood from?
I mean, when I met my wife, she worked at a seafood restaurant in Alberta, and they would have to overnight the oysters. She worked in an oyster bar. They would have to overnight the oysters from the coast every day. This may not
Crazy.
surprise you. That restaurant is no longer a business.
Does not surprise me. But speaking of Alberta, they've made the top 3 here.
Did tacos end up at number 4?
Oh yeah, I thought so. Oh,
See,
do you not agree with that?
I was going to make the case that steak should go at 4.
Steak over tacos?
I would rather tacos than steak. For the simple reason of the variety. I mean, you could have a steak taco. If you want steak, you could have a steak taco. You could have a pork taco. You could have any variety. The delicious meats that you want can be put inside of a taco and are still great.
It's not the same as a perfectly cooked slab of steak right off the grill.
How are you cooking this steak, by the way?
I mean, I guess that's kind of part of the discussion, is there's lots of different ways to cook the steak.
But like medium
Oh.
rare.
I'm like a medium rare kind of guy, but leaning more to the rare side.
Okay, good. We can, me and you, and not that we would, but we can split a steak.
Okay, that's good.
We'll
Good
just
to
probably
know.
eat our own though.
Yeah.
My first boss when I graduated university loved to have barbecues, and his thing was steak, and you'd go there, and his house rule that you had to eat a steak and you had to finish the steak. And these were like your big, like 10-ounce steaks. And just the amount of people who rolled out of there at the end of the night. Because he'd also be pushing the second steak on you.
My God.
And I have never had, I'd say that would be the closest I've ever come to legitimate meat sweats was there.
I mean, 20 ounces of medium rare steak will do that.
But boy, oh boy, was it delicious.
I just love steak. It's one of my favorite meals. It's less messy than tacos. I mean, tacos have the variety. That's where they have the upper hand.
It's less messy. You're literally getting blood everywhere when you eat a steak. If there's not a little bit of blood coming out of that steak, you're not doing it right.
No, I know, but you're eating it with a knife and fork. It's not like you're getting your hands dirty with tacos.
It's true. But like tacos are like, can be an entire meal. Like
yes.
Steak, you have to have some sides. Tacos, you could just like, what are you having? I'm having tacos. That's all you need. It's got everything in there. You can even put pineapple in there. That's an appropriate place for pineapple, is it not?
Yeah, I've had pineapple on tacos before.
And it's great.
It is good.
Yeah.
Because it's not mixed with any tomatoes, so.
I have to find a time that it is appropriate for pineapple and tomatoes. It is weird. So if I put a cream sauce or like barbecue sauce on a Hawaiian pizza, are you okay with that?
No, still no. Not with barbecue. Maybe more of like a white cream sauce I'd be more open to.
Okay. So you still want tacos at 4?
The only edge I give tacos is the variety piece.
That's my biggest reason.
That's where you're gonna get me.
Tacos at 3?
Steak at 4?
Steak at 4?
Yeah. I mean, I look at the other two and yes. Okay. Steak at 4, tacos at 3.
Which brings us to the final decision. Which is better? Chicken wings or Carolina barbecue?
You know, we've heavily leaned into the variety angle to give certain foods the edge, but both of these foods have wide variety.
Exactly. Right? Now, what is your go-to if you're going to like your local wing establishment, your local pub, and it's wing night? What are you getting?
It's funny. I've changed over the last couple of years because I used to always be about like a hot barbecue sauce, like a mixture between barbecue and hot sauce. But lately, I've become more of a traditionalist, and I just like hot wings, which is very fitting for Buffalo because you know the Buffalo hot wings is their signature.
Thing. Yeah,
it's their thing. And I have had Buffalo hot wings from Buffalo, and can confirm they're pretty good.
I have eaten at a Buffalo Wild Wings. Is that the same thing?
Was it in Buffalo?
It was in Seattle.
Then no.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a franchise.
Yes. There is one of those in Calgary. I've never eaten at it because it's incredibly overpriced.
Yeah, that's not the same thing.
My go-to, I have also changed over the years. My current go-to, especially if I'm only getting one kind, I usually order, first round goes 2 kinds. Then any subsequent orders become just single shot. I'll usually go with a honey garlic.
Yeah.
But the one that's my number one go-to if I'm only getting one kind, I will get salt and pepper wings with a side of hot sauce, and I'll dip it in the hot sauce.
Oh, so you get them dry.
Yeah, dry wings with the extra sauce on the side.
You know, I have to say, a dry wing's not a bad thing every once in a while.
No.
Sometimes I grab an order of, like you said, salt and pepper wings, and it's good.
It's a great choice. Especially when you can also then add this extra sauce on after. That said, I have never been one to care for ranch as my extra.
No, I did that once. Didn't like it. Never did it again. I do like honey garlic. I especially like honey garlic when the establishment has a hot honey garlic.
Ooh, hot honey garlic? Yeah. Yes, please. Sign me up.
Yeah.
I just looked. Did you see what time it is, Nick? We've been going. We've been going for a while.
Okay, so let's settle this then, Carl. You have tickets to Colorado Avalanche Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, and you're leaving the house very, very early, hours early to grab dinner before, because I don't want you to be late for the game. And you come to the street corner, and on your left, you have Buffalo-style chicken wings, and on the right, you have Carolina barbecue. Where do you go before the big game?
I'm going barbecue, and it's not a close decision for me. I'm going to the Carolina barbecue because then I can get wings at the barbecue place, Nick.
That's right. And you're also getting that platter, so you're getting wings, you're getting brisket, you're getting chicken.
Getting pulled pork. There's a whole chicken on there.
Pulled pork. Oh my goodness.
Rack of ribs.
And one of my sides is definitely some sort of Southern style mac and cheese.
Cornbread. Some slaw on there. Like a spicy coleslaw.
Oh man. I miss traveling.
Sign me up.
It's not even close. You're right.
Congratulations, Carolina. You are the home of the best food in the National Hockey League. And you know what? Carolina already knew that.
Of course they did.
They knew. They're like, yeah, that's why the 328 folk always tailgated before every game, because they have great food to celebrate and eat.
They know. And that's why they're always so happy. You follow their Twitter account. They're just such a happy bunch.
Yeah.
Because they're so full of barbecue all the time.
And you know what, Buffalo? This is the closest you'll come to winning for a while. So finishing second. Congratulations, Buffalo.
I haven't finished second since, 1999?
Yeah, and there wasn't even a foot in the crease this time. It's legitimate. Well, this was a lot of fun, Nick. Next week, who knows what our top 10 list will be, but it was fun talking about the top 10 foods in NHL cities, our summer top 10 list, especially with the way that the foods went, felt very summery.
It is very summery. I mean, we feast in the summer, right?
We do. We have to, oddly enough, we put on our winter weight in the summer, especially in 2020. We've got our winter weight on all year.
That's right. 2020, all the weight's just out there all the time.
2020, here's my weight. That's what I'm gonna get put on my sweatpants, because it's all I wear as well.
Oh, that's great.
Well, thanks for tuning in. You can find us at thefourthlinepodcast.com, where you can find more about the show. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find podcasts, we are there for you. You can also find us on the Full Press Radio app. You can find us on Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast, where you can tell us what meats or dishes you think should have been on this list that were not. Tell us where we were wrong. Tell us what you would have put as the number one, and then we'll tell you why you're wrong, and it's Carolina barbecue. So head on over there. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back next week, where there will probably still be no news, and we'll still be here talking about it.
It's time for us to wrap up another Fourth Line show. I know what you're thinking. You don't want us to go. The NHL jerseys have gone retro, and now I'm super hungry. I'm gonna make some queso.